Hello and welcome back to my channel, Michelle Holden Art, Beyond Mixed Media. And this week in my studio, I've been wanting to discover some muted tones. So as you can see here in my art journal, I explored 5 different colors, which I will list in the video comments below, and added unbleached titanium to calm them down. And this isn't the page I create another page, and muted colors have a quiet rhythm and they invite us to calm or slow down, to look at the subtleties and to pay attention. So let's see where these colors and layers lead us. So I'm showing you a page from Create With Me that we created together. And it was very fun but calming at the same time. So don't forget to check out that link so you can be in the loop. And this is the page that I really loved. It was a new color, burnt sienna with turquoise, Payne's gray, and yellow oxide. And I put the unbleached titanium in the middle, and as you can see, the direction of my mixing was to the middle for muted and combining the two colors with each other. And I really, really love the muted tones that turned out in the middle. And I'll be showing you that. And of course, I used some white, but I never ended up using black because the Payne's gray was dark enough. I simplified the following page that I'm showing you, but didn't like the colors. It was too green, too plant-based for me, for what I'm looking for. So I'm sticking to those colors, the same ones on my color palette here, using my scraps, some selected collage, and I'm going to continue where I left off. So as you can see, I'm just pausing, and sometimes, well, usually at the end of a page when I have a color palette full of leftover paint, I just love to make a start with the brayer. And I think I want to keep doing this, but really explore with the amount of paint on the brayer, the size of the brayer, and the marks that it leaves are so organic. They're ovals, I guess you would say, and circles, depending on how you roll the brayer through the palette. And I like to choose different directions, and this is just a start. I have not even put pencil on this paper yet, which is a different way to start for me. Needing some more turquoise. These are Liquitex fluid paints. And by the way, welcome if you are here for the first time. I'm Michelle Holden, the mixed media artist behind the channel. There is Create With Me to sign up for, which is live on Tuesdays at 2. I also have a 5-day free course, and the links are in the description below the video. Also, letters from the studio if you want to be in the loop as to when my course, Inner Rhythms, or Inner Rhythm, is coming out in the fall. So stay tuned. So, what I'm doing here now with the color shaper, and what I've been doing lately with all of my art tools, is slowing right down. Paying attention instead of rushing and making scribbles and swirls. That isn't the energy that I want to emulate or communicate. So you might want to pause between each layer or set of marks just for a moment or two and see and think about the energy that's happening on your page. We will be taking this a lot deeper during my course, So if this resonates with you, I would get on my email list so you know what's happening. I'm loving this burnt sienna. It's less yellow compared to the golden, the azo gold, nickel azo gold. It's like rust. It's just earthy. And I guess since fall is on its way, or I have these feelings of fall, but when I look through my palette and my work, and for a short time I think, oh, I'm trying some new colors. Well, these colors just keep showing up. Different variations using yellow oxide instead of burnt sienna, but I love this turquoise and this burnt sienna with Payne's gray as a cooler, calmer gray, and with a little bit of yellow oxide, and of course the unbleached titanium, white and black. I've not done a color exploration video in a while, but I will be doing a lot more of these. So if you watch today's video and want to get back to it, of course it's in your watch history, but you can also find it in the color exploration category on my channel. These little pages are from old texts, and I love how they age, and I've just been building up more and more of them. So it's funny why I chose the brayer here. I chose it because I wanted more turquoise on my roll-off page, not even caring about the mark at the top, but it just happened. So this is unmixed turquoise, and look at the difference. So mixing your colors, even with a little bit, really makes a difference. Okay. I've been neglecting using drips and splotches and letting the paint run. I used to do that all the time on my canvases. So now it's coming in my schema of history of mark making, your lexicon of marks, as to say, and it just comes out as you use it more. That's what's happening. So it needed a quiet page. So this piece of collage is made on my jelly plate printer, which we will be doing for Create With Me this Tuesday coming up. Just some introductory techniques that I already know, but there's always new ones. This is medical paper printed on my large, what is it, a 12 by 14 jelly plate. So we'll be getting that out in the future. But the one I use the most is the 8 by 10 because it's your A4 size. And doesn't that quiet with the unbleached titanium and a little bit of white, so it's very opaque. I could have chosen a slightly more translucent piece, but combining opacity and translucency and transparency is a great play with layers. And I realized why I chose this one is that the neutral paper tone, that vintage aged, is the best. I finally found my little tiny ruler so I can just tear rather than cut, and rather than just torn edges. This is somewhere in between, and there's the spot right there. Why does that work there? You might want to ask yourself when you finish your page or when you pause between layers, why does that piece of collage work there or feel right. And in another spot, it doesn't. My guess is that it's closer to the tones and the values of those colors up there. Plus, it creates a larger rectilinear shape or square shape if you incorporate that whole upper right corner. And now the composition is transforming from horizontal to quadrant, maybe. So I like things to be hidden, especially with text. Maybe it's too much, but you can experiment with that. Lift with your prayer or another piece of paper. There's something so nice about the rawness of these art journaling pages. When things get over refined, they lose their energy. Energy is very important. It's what we put into our artwork. It's what gets communicated. Thinking about this important number. And must make more of those. There's my thumbs up there. It's like, yes, that's it. Sometimes you'll get into a flow where everything gets just going wonderfully. Sometimes you need to pause and go, as I did there. I switched it. Maybe it's my memory. It was a last minute decision. And I love the transparent collage. It's one of my favorite parts of the process in this intuitive art process. I noticed the number, whatever you're going to use, maybe a black shape, maybe a black square, isn't right in the middle. It's in the golden mean. It's in the slightly lower left, upper left. And now I'm bringing in more contrast to go with the little black mark that's there. This is a piece of deli paper created on my 5x7 jelly plate. And it's really nice and thin, rather than a solid, like a scrapbooking black piece of paper. And then I decided, well, let's continue this horizontal mark, but in a different way. Color shapers are great for this technique. And you can always spray your page, your substrate, with a little bit of water, and the color shaper moves much more smoothly. Brought in that piece of yellow, it just went, whoa. I don't know if it needs it or not. I just sort of thinking about it at this point. Sometimes, initially, they're great, but then sometimes they can overpower depending on the ratios. It's just, whoa, way too much going on. Don't worry. Maybe I use just a tiny piece. Sometimes that's all you need. I need a longer, thinner piece. So I'm not sure, so I just put those down. Oh, that is a piece of newsprint. That's newsprint. And look at that. The blue is very nice. Ah, like that right there. Isn't that interesting? So it's bringing the layer past that neutral rectangle, not covering up the number and not changing the composition too much because the values are the same. It's very interesting. So now you have all this push and pull overlapping. That's what I'm indicating here. The big white space right there in the middle is a little distracting. I like to call it flashlights. So I do minimize that. You can add a glaze, you can use your water-soluble crayons. So you can deal with it on a very minimal way. All right, this just had to happen, I guess. Nope, nope, yes. So the contrast of the yellow and black is great. It moves the eye around. And this piece becomes a little more transparent, which cuts down on the contrast and the brightness, the saturation. Okay, nope. I don't know if I do that or not. I don't think so. I think it just needed some yellow, but in a different form. Perfect. Perfect. Those water-soluble pastels are really great. I don't have an Amazon store link yet. I guess I should get on that now that I'm using a lot more different materials. So I'm applying different pressure to get different line, bringing that eye down. There's my ladder shapes, rectangular shapes. And here's my newer piece of corrugated cardboard. I do like the older ones better. They're stiffer because they have so much paint on them. I'm choosing a similar value here, and I'm pushing back that neutral rectangle. That works. Just adding another layer. Just right. So I hope you explore some colors. Try muting them down. Sometimes when we're working with the rainbow of colors, it's just too much. It's too much to see, there's too much to look at. So when you simplify your color palette, plus calm down the saturation into muted tones, amazing things can happen. Plus they all relate. If any of you have heard about the mother color, that's when you mix a little bit of all the colors and then you put that color in all the colors. I've not done a video on that before, so write in the comments what you would like. That is my new spray. I didn't want the 8 covered up too much, but I wanted that rust or this beautiful tone to show up a little more. So this page has been great. I really enjoyed and love these muted tones, and I really am going to explore more. In the course coming up in the fall, of course, we go a lot deeper. And my waiting list will be open in September for the course. So make sure you sign up for Letters from the Studio to get all the information and be in the loop. In the meantime, happy creating, and don't forget to like and subscribe.